So far on my channel, most of my videos have been about clone fragrances, but I do have a pretty decent sized collection of designer fragrances too. And today I wanted to make a review of one. And since we're going into the spring and the summertime here in the US, I thought what better than one of the most popular spring and summertime fragrances out right now, Jean Paul Gaultier's beau Paradise Garden. First thing I want to talk about this real quick before we get into the scent is I just want to give it appreciation to the presentation of this fragrance. Definitely my favorite can of the Jean Paul's. It's got this raised lettering on it. Got like dragons and insects and flowers, butterflies. Super cool can. I'm trying to repurpose it into something else because it just sits in my closet and I feel like it should be like being used for something, being appreciated. You know what I'm saying? And the bottle as well, the typical Jean Paul design, but you know, with the beau chiselness to it. The color as well, I love. I think it's a perfect color for what this smells like. But anyways, just a quick little appreciation for probably my favorite presentation out of any designer fragrances at least. So let's get right into the smells. Amazing atomizer, as usual with the Jean Paul's. Great. Gets a lot out, sprays great. Typical with Jean Paul. Anyways, let's talk about what this smells like. So I don't have the official notes pulled up. I usually in my reviews, I don't really use like the official note pyramid too much. Obviously I'll look at them, but I don't really describe it in notes. I try to explain what things really smell like, but I know this one has some notes of like coconut and watery and green notes and fig and sandalwood. And honestly, those notes specifically in this one are great ways to explain what this smells like in my opinion. It's so, if you're looking for like a tropical summer fragrance, I would highly recommend this. This is, in my opinion, from what I've smelled, probably one of the best, if not the best, when it comes to designer and smelling like, tropical. This smells like a lush jungle, but on a beach, right? So you have like a forest, like, greenly, I would describe as like a foresty type smell. This is like a tropical jungle smell, you know, when you really get the coconut and the fig and the sandalwood, you know. It smells like coconut water with like some green stuff mixed into it. What green stuff, I don't know, but just like a little bit of green added into the original beau DNA, you know, because as it should, this is a flanker of a beau, and it doesn't stray too far from the original. It does have the beau DNA and it smells similar to beau, but in my opinion, a flanker should just be a little bit different, and that's what this is. Just with I think the technical notes that are different is the fig, like they just kind of greened up beau a little bit, and it's a great way to explain this. So if you're a fan of beau, you smelled it, and you like it, you'll definitely like this. If you don't like beau, I would not recommend you buy this. It is not much different. It is a little bit different, you know, certainly not redundant to own both, I wouldn't say, but definitely has a similar DNA, right? If you're looking for around the $100-ish price point, depending on which size, I believe my size, the 2.5 ounce retails for $115, and the bigger size, I think like $130, $140-ish, probably off discounters. You could probably get this size for maybe $90, something like that. Just what I think I paid around this for. If you're looking for a summer fragrance around that price point and a tropical vibe is what you're going for, I would recommend it. As far as performance goes, it is a solid performer. I get a good 7-8 hours out of it, and for me, at least with other fragrances I reviewed and stuff, I'm always catching myself saying I'm getting, 4 or 5. So I'm more conservative on what I look at as performing. If something is completely not, you can't smell it, but I go, and I can smell it a little bit, that's done. You know, if it's once become a skin scent, I don't look at it as it's performing really anymore. But, towards the latter half of that 7-8 hours, it's certainly going to be more intimate. Obviously, it's going to die down. It's going to be right around here, but you're still going to smell it pretty good. And one thing I'll also talk about this, the opening of this, like I just sprayed it on my hand. Like the first hour of this is definitely my favorite part of the lifespan of this fragrance, in my opinion. And it smells good throughout the whole time, obviously, but it really shines in like the first hour. Like it's so juicy, fresh, with the coconut and the fig. It's like out of all my whole collection, This sprayed fresh is one of my favorite scents, and I've smelled a lot of scents. This is definitely one of my favorite. I cannot express it enough how good it smells, particularly in the opening. Once it dries down into the hours, it's going to really get close to the Le Beau. It's going to lose that kind of fresh greenness, you know, that juicy green that this has a little bit that Le Beau doesn't. Kind of loses that as it goes along. And it still smells great. It just kind of dries down into a more coconutty type smell. And for this type of fragrance, 7-8 hours is awesome. You know, you can't expect that much more when it comes to a summer, you know, fruity, fresh type genre of fragrance. You know, when it comes to winter fragrances, obviously they last longer. But this is, it's so good. I can't recommend it enough. Obviously, if you've smelled Le Beau or Le Beau Le Parfum, you know that DNA, and this has that DNA if you never smelled it, because me personally, I blind bought this. Now, I knew what Le Beau smelled like. I knew what Le Beau, I smelled those. I have little samples of them actually too, but even in the stores, like in the mall and stuff, Le Beau would be there, Le Beau, but Paradise Garden was usually a little harder to find, to test. But I actually blind bought it just because I knew that it was similar to Le Beau and I knew I would like it. And of course I did. It's my personal favorite out of the three. Everybody seems to have their own opinion. Usually people either pick Paradise Garden or Le Beau Le Parfum though. And my opinion, I like the Paradise Garden better. But that's just me. I think I covered everything I wanted to. I just wanted to talk about it real quick, give my honest opinion of it. So that's going to be it for me. If you enjoyed, drop a like, subscribe, whatever, for content like this. I usually like to make quick little honest reviews of things, just tell you what they smell like, you know. So if you're into that, subscribe. If you're not, don't. And I will catch y'all in the next one.